So I hope all of you can see my screen. We have Srinath Charya with us here. Allow me to introduce him. So he is a principal engineer, innovator for two patents which are filed in United States and Trademark Office. He's a solution development at Allscript. Today he gonna talk about very exciting topic about Selenium automation with C Sharp. I am also really looking forward to see this exciting insight from this topic. If you want to know more about Srinath, you can go to Selenium Summit website and check more about him and can connect. So without wasting much time, we would be taking us into the lab session, and I'm sure it would be a great learning for all of us. So with that, over to you, Srinath.
Thanks, Sumit. It's a great introduction. It's an honor to be a part of ATA Selenium Summit. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, your skin is visible, so yeah, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Over to you.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Based on the time zone, I see the people have joined all across the globe. So we are seeing so many things when we start automating with Java, but the same thing can be achieved with C Sharp. The next powerful language, what I can say, is C Sharp and Python. Many organizations use Selenium with C Sharp, Selenium with Python, and Java is most commonly used across when we wanted to automate. So I thought, okay, the same thing, whatever we have seen till today, okay, so the same thing can be achieved, and similar things can be achieved and maybe added much more if we are know what the power of C sharp can be done with through the C sharp can be done. So uh, I thought of taking a lab session so that in a first glance, okay, a simple way how we can automate is something, okay, taking a some scenario. So that's what I have planned today. So what can you expect from this session? Okay, so at the end of this lab session, you should be able to automate a scenario, any scenario, uh, where the same thing can be run with a Chrome, Firefox, headless mode, whatever you want to name, okay, except Safari. I don't have a Safari browser right now installed. It's a Windows laptop, but the same thing can be done with a Safari when we wanted to run on the MacBook. Yeah, even with the Internet Explorer, Edge, anything, okay. So that is what I am going to take a step by step a lab session. I wanted to know how many of you have Visual Studio installed right now, and you want to like start with me. You can raise a hand. Yeah, or you can also follow along with me, watch the videos. Okay, I see one.
Guys, you can just raise your hand so that Srinath can understand how many folks have Visual Studio. So that would be of great help.
Yeah. So as of now, Srinath, we see two members have the setup. Yeah.
Okay, that's great, okay. The others can just watch what I'm doing. Yeah, anyhow,
And Srinath, sorry to just interrupt. I mean, do you want to be it to be a little bit interactive session so that someone can ask in between the queries?
yes, definitely, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
So
yeah.
guys, please go ahead. But just before asking, please raise your hand so we know who is asking. And let's have a logical break when you're asking questions so that we maintain the time, and then we can cover all the aspect. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, welcome to .NET World. Okay, that's what is my message. Okay, so we have seen Java. I do had worked on Java, and I do have worked on .NET extensively. Most of the my career I have worked on .NET. Only for CPSAT, I can say I have worked on Java. Then later I converted, trying to like explore the same programs on .NET, and I was able to achieve. And I also took a CPSAT in Java. Then I become a CPSAT trainer as well internally for all scripts. I can only train all script employees because of the policies, company policies, as a like a Selenium workshop. I done a training for a batch in within all scripts. Now, so let me start. Okay, in order to like do some exercise, okay, you should have a Visual Studio Community Edition. Community Edition is a free where you can learn, you can practice anything, and you can conduct the trainings and attend the trainings. Conduct the training, I'm not sure. You can attend the trainings with a Visual Studio, and the Visual Studio Professional and Visual Studio Enterprise are the licensed version, and C# as a like a programming language, that's what we are going to go through. Or if you have any programming language like Java or Python or any other thing, you should be able to follow what I am doing. Okay, so first, okay, now I will start from the I have a Visual Studio 2017. The latest version is 2019. The moment I click Visual Studio, it launches the Visual Studio. Yeah, and the layout of Visual Studio 2019 is similar. Okay, the project library and create new project, everything lies over here itself. The buttons may be here and there. Okay, so what I am going to do is create a new project. Okay, I'm going to click on the create new project. When you the moment you click on a new project, you will see the new project window. Then there are lot of things where you can develop uh, a Windows based application, web based application, Android, cross platform. Okay, you can automate cross platform applications, mobile apps, all those things you can do. So in order to like do something with a Selenium or the with the Appium, okay, even with Appium, what you need to do is you have to select a class library, okay, with a .NET framework. There is another two more things. Okay, one is a .NET standard and another is a .NET core. Okay, so these two are when you develop anything with a .NET standard or the .NET core, that you can the same program when you commit to the any source control management like TFS or anywhere on the GitHub or anywhere, if someone downloads the same thing in a MacBook or a Linux, the same thing can be run with the other platform as well. So the programs which are written with the .NET standard or the .NET core can be run with the other operating system. So right now I am going to use a class library .NET framework, and the framework installed is .NET 4.1.7 4.7.1. okay, it's any framework is like fine for the Selenium. So let me browse and okay. So this is my first program. Okay, I'm giving as my first program and storing in the folder practice 3. The class library project is nothing but a DLL project. Yeah. The moment you load, yeah, this is the window in the Visual Studio. It is similar to like other Windows component, like the file saving. If you go to file, okay, the file menu and the edit menu, view has a solution explorer, okay, all those things. Okay, the solution explorer is the one where you can see the project and the solution. Okay, say if you go to this class1.cs, cs indicates C# file. If someone is writing with a Visual Basic, it will be .vb file, okay, something like that. Okay, the .cs is the extension for the C#. If I go and open to the container, you will see one with the csproj. Okay, csproj is the project file. Okay, if you go back here, you will see the solution is the one where here you have, and if you have a multiple project, you can start creating the multiple projects. Okay, so now in order to like start the Selenium, what we need to do is we need to add the packages. Okay, NuGet package, we call it as a NuGet package in .NET. So there are few NuGet packages where we need to import it. Okay, it is similar to in Java, where you can go to the import all the like necessary Selenium things like that. Okay, one is the NUnit. There in Java we will use the JUnit or the TestNG. So here it is a NUnit, and the NUnit test adapter we need to add, and then the Selenium WebDriver, Chrome driver for the Chrome driver, and Gecko driver is for the Firefox. Okay, similarly Internet Explorer, all those things are there. Okay, now coming to this one. Okay, I will right click on the solution, or you can right click on the program, go to the manage NuGet packages. Okay, here you will see, if you go to the browse, okay, you can start types like a Selenium, you will see all the things, okay, whatever is required. Okay, for the first time when you type, right, you will not able to see these things. Okay, in order to like get all the NuGet packages, there is a package source. So if you have some other sources also, all the sources are displayed over here in the NuGet package, nuget.org. You can see everything. Now first one is I want to import the NUnit. Okay, so here is a NUnit. Always import the latest table 1 packages. Okay, you click on install. It will take a couple of seconds and it will install. Okay, something exception throwing. Yeah, the one which I tried to add, I have to remove package source. Okay, so it is imported. You can see in the output it has been added successfully. Okay, similarly now NUnit test adapter. Okay, this is the another one we need to add. This is for the NUnit. Okay, these two. Now, okay, the moment you add, you will also see here something called packages.config. Okay, so if you see here, it has added NUnit 3.13.1 version, and targeted framework is .NET 4.71. Okay, it is 471, it will show like that. And similarly the NUnit test adapter. Now you need to add 3 more packages. Okay, one is the Selenium WebDriver for the all the driver related, and the Chrome driver and the Gecko driver. Okay, so right click, type Selenium, you will see Selenium WebDriver. Okay, install the latest stable one. Okay, you can see in the output. Next is Selenium WebDriver Chrome driver. Okay, here is a one catch. Okay, in case of the Chrome driver, so the latest Chrome driver available is 88.4386. okay, this should match with the browser version of whatever you are using. Say suppose you go over here and see what is your Chrome version. Okay, your Chrome version is 88.4326. okay, then you have to import the similar, okay, 88.88 series. Okay, so I am going to import the 88 series Chrome driver. Okay. And also let me also add the Gecko driver so that we can run it on the WebDriver Gecko driver. Okay, for Gecko driver, just add the latest one. It is irrespective of the Firefox version, it runs. For Chrome driver, if you are using a Chrome 84 or Chrome 79, you need to install the respective version. Okay, the moment you install all these things, okay, you can also notice this package.config, and you can see what versions have been imported. Okay, and this is very important. This is a one-time activity, because the moment you commit the changes to the source control, okay, either the GitHub or maybe the TFS, Team Foundation Server, so if someone downloads and build the solution, for them also it will automatically add. Okay, it is not that everyone need to like add it. The packages whatever is being committed in the TFS and build the project, it will add the same, it will import the same packages for the other people as well. Okay, now in the CS file, what I am going to do is I am going to rename as a my first program, my first test script. Okay, okay, so let me show you the simple things, because I wanted to like achieve something in this session. Okay, so what I have done here is, okay, I created a template. Okay, let me explain this template. Okay, every test will have a setup. Okay, that you know, okay, if you are using the uh, Java with Selenium, and then the some exercise, okay, that will have a test and the teardown. So this is the one where I am going to the similar way I am going to do it. Okay, now if I go to the my program, okay, first what I am going to do is at the class level I will add it a test fixture. Okay, then it will not automatically import. If you press control dot, it will show from which package it should be using. Okay, so now I clicked that one, it has imported that one. Okay, next one is, okay, I will have a 3 classes. One is for the setup, other is for the okay, test, third one is either cleanup, you can call tear down, whatever it may be. Each should have a attribute. Okay, setup will have a setup attribute. Okay, then the test will have a test attribute. One test fixture can have a multiple tests as well. Third one is tear down. Okay, any doubts so far?
Guys, if you have any queries, you can just unmute and ask, because since this is a lab session, I think that would be prudent instead of waiting till the last moment.
Okay.
I think we can continue, Srinath, for now.
Yes. Yeah. So what I am going to do is, at the class level, I am going to declare a WebDriver. Okay. The WebDriver is coming from the Selenium. Okay. Opens. Yeah. iWebDriver. Okay. It is coming from OpenQA Selenium. Import that one. Okay. It adds over here. And now here what I am going to do is, okay, let's take a scenario. Okay, now what we will do, okay, we will open, okay, first open the Google and say search CPSAT. Okay, then click on enter button. Okay, let's try this one. So it comes over here with the title as a CPSAT hyphen Google search. Okay, let's automate this one and verify the title has come like this. Okay, so now in order to like open, so what I'm going to do is driver is equal to new Chrome driver. I'm going to do the experiment on the Chrome driver. When you type the Chrome driver first time, you have to import the namespace. It is from the selenium.chrome driver. Now also let me maximize also, otherwise it will open in driver.manage.windows.maximize. This is the command for maximizing. The moment you do this one, next one is the driver is open. Now I wanted to navigate to the URL. Okay, to in order to navigate, okay, driver.navigate. Okay, some catches are there. Okay, when you press it dot, right, if you see the cube, okay, that means it's a method. Okay, if you see the spanner, that means it is a property. See here I have not given a, in case of window I have not given a bracket. Okay, the moment okay, let me show over here again. Driver dot, okay, say navigate. Okay, that is a method. Method will have a parameter. Okay, in this there is no parameter. Okay, then I wanted to open the window. Okay, driver dot manage. Okay, manage is a method. Okay, window is showing as a spanner, that means it's a property. For properties there is no any parenthesis required. Then maximize. Okay, now I wanted to navigate to the browse to the URL, so I will type navigate, that is a method. Okay, then there is a method, another method, go to the URL. then this is expecting in the, it is showing in the string URL. So in double quotes, what I will do is I will enter, okay, the URL. Next, what I am going to do is I am going to search driver dot, okay, then find element, okay. In order to do anything, okay, the by clause, then the, see, we have a class name as a identifier, ID as an identifier, name as identifier, okay. Let me use the name, okay. What is the name of this one? You can right click, inspect, name of this particular control is Q. You can use selector hub, okay, the one the Sanjay was demoing, so it has a more powerful to see the XPaths. Okay. Now let me use the name of the control is Q. Then now I want to send the keys inside something called CPSat. Okay. Now similarly, the moment I enter, I want to also enter the key from the keyboard, enter key. We can do send keys, keys dot enter from the keyboard. Okay. Now what, yeah, let me run this one, this much, okay, then we will see what is happening. And I will also put a breakpoint, not required actually. So in order to like run here, the moment you import the NUnit, there is a one menu with a test and Windows. In the test explorer, you can see the whatever the test we have written, okay. Right now it is sorted with the class name. You can add the categories also. Say suppose I want to add a category. Category is nothing but a creation of a suit, okay. So this one is say I wanted to run all the segregate, okay, something with a category as a Chrome, or maybe the regression as a category. So here you can see the trait as a Chrome, okay. So all the categories which I wanted to run it on the Chrome, we can multiple test cases, we can segregate for the entire project, can be categorized as a Chrome, okay. Now I will right click and run this one. So it is building the project. You can see over here build succeeded. See, it opened the Chrome, maximized, opened the Google, entered CPSat, entered the key, and yeah, CPSat hyphen Google search is the title. It has come, okay. It is stopped, okay. I in the teardown I have not written to close it, okay. So if we, for every test you should quit, okay. Otherwise what happens is, in your task manager you will see the Chrome driver in the background. Yeah, see here Chrome driver is still running. When you run again, there will be another Chrome driver. So in the teardown we will end up with the driver.quit. And also, like if you wanted to clean up something, okay, you have some data, okay, that you wanted to like reset the data. So whatever In the teardown, it is like a cleanup, okay, and you wanted to reset something, all those things can be written in the clean or the teardown method. So now this test is ready. Okay, now how do we assert? We wanted to do some validation, right? So it is same again, assert dot r equal. Okay, now expected value I am expecting. Okay, what I am expecting, the title here as a cpsat hyphen google search. Okay. cpsat google search. Okay, and actual value. Okay, let me read the actual value. So I will declare a string as a title, then driver dot title. Okay, so title is a property which will be written. Okay, now it is going to read the title and give it to me. Then here expected value also is a title. Yeah, this is one way of asserting with a n unit. There is something called trace also, trace dot write line. Okay, trace is coming from, say, control dot, if I type, it comes from the system diagnostics. Okay, dot write line, then we can also read, it is like console dot write line. Okay, we can, I can type it as a title. What it is going to do is, the moment we run, we have a output window. Here in the output window we can see what is happening. Okay, in a debug mode. Okay, let I will show that one when we run. Now yeah, I will, yeah, it is going to close also. Let me put some, the moment we search, we actually we should add the explicit weights. I'm telling program to wait for 4 seconds the moment we search and then verify all those things. Now if I run in a debug mode, yeah, I think this one is, okay, it has run. Now what happened to my taskbar? Let me close this Chrome driver, right click and task. Okay, so now you can see here, right? So it has also verified the, it has come as a cpsat hyphen google search. Say suppose if I type something like this, so my expected value is wrong, but it is going to, it whatever it is like searching, it is showing. So if I run the same test again, right click and debug, so this time it will fail. Yeah, yeah, I would have run in a run mode. So the moment it is mismatch, it is stopped there. So it is, see, the test is failed. Okay, why it is failed? Because the value coming is as a cpsat hyphen google search, not the one that. Since I am also like writing in the line, we can see that as well over here, the what is the value it has come. uh, yeah, basically it displays here, not sure why it is not. So you will have the value or in the output window. I'm not sure why it is not displaying. I will figure it out. Okay, so this is the way where we can simple way set up your the first program, then do some like automation, and then do the asserting. So this is with the now Chrome. Okay, similarly if I want to run the same program with the Firefox, what I will do is new Firefox driver. It is coming from Selenium Firefox. Now actually the category is Chrome, is Firefox. Okay, we should change it, let it be like that. And how do we build the project in C#? You right click and build the solution, or else the moment you run it will automatically build and then run. There is an option to build over here as well. Okay, now the program is built. This time I will remove this one. So this time it is going to launch the Firefox. So it is open the Firefox, open the Google, enter the cpsat, then verified. Yeah, see this time it has written. Yeah, I am able to see in the output. Yeah, cpsat Google search is the title. Okay. Oh, last time it has exited from here the moment it did not mismatch. Yeah, assert.r equal, it will throw a exception if it is mismatch, then the next line of code will not run, and it has come to the teardown and quitted in the last time. So otherwise you can see, okay, what is the output in the debug with the help of trace.writeLine. See, it is a simple way. Okay, now we can run the same program in Chrome, we can run the same program in Firefox, like that. Any questions so far? I have a few more things to show. Okay, silence is fine. Okay, that means I can go ahead now. Yeah, same thing. Okay, let me open few more things. Say suppose I wanted to run this some program, similar program. I wanted to run in Internet Explorer. So for Internet Explorer we need to add some more options. Okay, options are where the where you will be like enabling okay native events as a, like a false, and also the disable pop-up blocking and all. It is we need to like add these additional properties. Okay, then you pass that one, and this is a, then the same thing. Okay, Google search, here I'm typing as a all scripts, finding the object and entering as a all scripts and run. So the moment if I right click and run this one, this project is building. It has so many test cases. So it launched IE. So it runs in a local host the moment it launches, then navigate to the Google whatever the URL you have given. Then here I am typing as a all scripts. Then it is navigated over here, run the test. Okay, so yeah, this is for the IE. Okay, similarly if you want to run with the headless mode, okay, say suppose I want to run in a Chrome with a headless. Okay, now here the Chrome options in headless mode, you have to instantiate a new object with a Chrome option, then you have to pass the argument as a headless. Okay, now this time if I run this one, it won't open. Okay, this test case also is the same, something like that. It won't launch anything, it just simply runs in a headless mode. Yeah, yeah, it has run. Okay, so yeah, and say suppose the same thing if I want to run it on some other drivers. Yeah, Chrome with a headless mode and Firefox with a headless mode. Okay, same thing, you will have a Firefox options. Okay, and in the argument you put as a headless, and for the driver when you pass the create a driver Firefox, pass the Firefox option whatever you have created. Okay, and Edge does not have a headless mode. Okay, so headless mode is not supported over here, but you can run in IE Internet Explorer, okay, and also with Edge. Edge is having Edge driver, okay. Somewhere I have tried that one. Yeah, Edge driver. Okay, this is in the Edge driver. Okay, so we can try out all these things. Okay, and similarly even for the Safari as well. And see here in this particular project, right, I have tried out many things. When you want to say run, say in the under the day one, I have around 10 tests. Okay, we can right click and run it. Okay, debug is the one where you wanted to put a breakpoint and say suppose here in my program I wanted to, before asserting what is the value it is coming, okay, I wanted to see. Okay, the difference here is run selected test is it will run and it will skip all the debug. Okay, if you want to debug, you have to run it with a debug. You put a breakpoint, you on the line, the just beside the line number, you put a, you click on there, so that it will put a breakpoint. Sumit, how much time I have?
We have time till 5:35.
5:35. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. See here, now since we have put a breakpoint, it is come and stopped over here. We can see everything. Okay. We can, and also say suppose any object, okay, in .NET, right click and click on add watch. Okay, you can watch over here, and if you want a something like a say driver is a object, right, and when we go over, okay, add watch, okay, add watch is the one, and quick watch is in the quick watch, it will open the window. You can see all the properties, all the methods, okay, and whatever it is doing, so you can see over here, you can expand the things and you can navigate and see what is happening. And here also, then in this yeah, how do we also sort? Okay, say suppose I wanted to sort by class name, you can right click here and sort by class name. You can see by class name whatever the class name you have given. Say here is a class name is headless test. Okay, here is a headless test, and you have put a categories. Okay, one test can have a multiple categories as well. Say this is a part of the day one program, and also it is a part of headless mode. Okay, we can put like that. Say suppose some test cases are priority one test cases and also a part of regression. So suppose you want to run only priority one test case, you can categorize as a priority one and also add another category as a regression. Suppose you want to run the full regression, so you will have here say now I will sort it by traits. Okay, that means say now I wanted to run all the day one programs, I can right click and run it. Okay, and say I wanted to run only the headless mode programs. Okay, here is a one headless. Okay, that means I can run this one like that. We can put a multiple categories, and by duration and by project, if you have a multiple project, you can with the multiple projects, and duration, namespace, outcome, all those things. Okay, and those are the all options in .NET. And here, yeah, under the view we have solution, and also the team explorer is the one where we can commit the code to the TFS. Yeah, class view, output error list, and warnings. We can warnings, we can see errors, we can see all those things. and say suppose you wanted to add some other external DLLs or the project. To recap the things, okay, in a simple way, what we have to do is first open the Visual Studio, open a class library project, and there is something called package source. In the package source, you have to go to the setting. In the setting, add this one, okay, API NuGet.org v3 index.json, and name the package name as a NuGet.org. That is something like this, okay. And later you come over here in the browse window, okay. Under the NuGet.org, these are all the packages. Then type like NUnit, whatever the packages you want to run, it will sort and import that one, okay. For NUnit and NUnit test adapter, there is a something called NUnit 2 test adapter. If you are running with a Visual Studio 2015, okay, at that time you have to use NUnit 2 test. Yeah, those are the things. In when you type Selenium, you have so many extensions, packages where people are creating. Import Selenium WebDriver, then Selenium WebDriver Chrome driver, okay, IE driver if you want to, then the Gecko driver, okay, and something you want to deal with the uh, weight, okay, implicit weight, explicit weights, all those things, that is .NET Selenium extra weight helper. You have to import this one. Then it supports all those the weight options like the driver weight or the object weight, all those things. Yeah, the moment you import, you can also notice over here package.config. In the package.config, you can see what all the like packages we have installed. Then you go to the first project, the CS file. You need to add three methods. One is setup, other one is test, and third one is a teardown. In test, what you are going to do, in the setup, what you are going to do is you will be having a driver initialization, and in the test you will be having the test whatever you wanted to test it, and in the teardown you will have a teardown cleanup, and you have to also define at the top the driver, web driver. Yeah, and at the class level you have to add as a text fixture. Yeah, the moment you have done, you should be able to run it. Any questions?
I think we are good, Srinath.
Okay. Yeah, I am almost done. Yeah, if you want me to show something else for the interest of time. Yeah, yeah, whatever like something on the frames, okay. Say suppose yeah, switch to frame, okay, we can switch to the other frame and get the element, autocomplete element, and send the key, all those things. And the way we can find the multiple elements, driver dot find elements, you can get the element, and in the loop we can search, okay, as a Java, then click on that particular element, all those things can be done. Yeah, similarly the mouse over examples. Yeah, JavaScript executor, all those things can be done. Yeah. And also, actually, as you like start practicing, there are some complexities. Some are like page factory and all can be done as well. Page factory. See, in the page factory we have something called find by, right? So here also we can do a find by. The methods we can specify, then we can try it out. Sorry. Yeah, if there are no question, I am done with this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Srinath. Hi, everyone. If you have any questions for Srinath, or if any topic, any particular point which you want to, quickly recap or summarize once again, we still have 5 minutes more left. And if you have any question and answer, so please go ahead if you have any.
It was a wonderful session, Srinath. I can add that because it's like you have shown things very systematically and very step-by-step process. And I think even if folks have not done along with you, it's like even if they see the video afterwards, they'll learn a lot from the video as well.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Thanks,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Harsh. I think I'm just looking if anyone has any question. Otherwise, I have only one question for you, Srinath, if I can ask.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
so basically what I wanted to know, like, I mean, entirely, I mean, definitely you have shown end-to-end each steps and all. But let's say if someone is starting, as a, let's say I am new to, C Sharp.
Yeah.
So maybe I just want to understand in that respect because I think automation wise I'm clear,
Okay.
and every language has its own, pros and cons, and where
Okay.
exactly it fits, what excited you, and what are the things which are getting unlocked out of it, which we might not be knowing at the moment, but
Yeah.
worth to try for. So if you can please share your experience and yeah.
Yeah, I am writing a one book for that one.
Okay, great, great.
Programming for non-programmers.
Uh-huh.
Explaining with a C sharp. Okay.
Okay.
It is in a draft stage. So it has so many things actually. How do we start with a Visual Studio? It's going to be a small book. Then something on the like data types. How do we do? And some small programs, and then the operators. Yeah, and then something on like how do we. I have taken some different type of examples where we can try it out, and some more on the if condition, else condition, how do we try it out. This
Okay.
is like just if you sit for a day, you
Mm-hmm.
should be able to learn all the basic programming with this one. Then definitely you can try out with the Selenium thing. So because the last time when I took CPSAT program internally, many people were not well versed with the programming itself. So I wanted to like first let them thorough with the C sharp. Then it is easy to get into the Selenium. So that's how I tried out. So it's went well. So it has so many some assignments basically explaining the thing like all the like loops, all those things, conditions, all those things. If we go to the index,
Okay.
yeah, it's good that you asked this question. So it is all the like data types, condition, switches, okay, loops, arrays, okay, the basic stuff, and something on the like classes and object. something on the object-oriented programming. That's it. Okay, nothing else. This should help any non-programmers which they wanted to start for the programming. Then, am I sharing the screen? I think
No, you. I just see you.
No.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Also, if you have any, link handy, maybe you can share with all of us in the chat. Okay,
Okay.
it is
Yeah.
work in progress. Okay.
Yeah. It's work in progress. Okay. So this was a book which I wanted to write it. Programming for non-programmers explained with a C#. It's a beginner's guide. So it has the content of 7 chapters explaining like why programming, then how do we see in the Visual Studio, then basic fundamentals, foundation, covering all the like fundamentals, some switch operations, arrays, loops, functions, then classes, objects, all the inheritance stuff, access modifier. So this should help anyone to go to the moment they cover this one, then they should be able to start working with the automation stuff. So that was
Alright.
the intention behind it. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe after when you have shown all this, I'm really sorry, but I got one more question.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm sure like if you're putting so much work into this, definitely something must have excited you, right? So I'm just trying to understand that excitement. Like when you started this, and I'm sure a lot of us play with different languages, tools, framework, and whatnot. But end of the day, what was the things which have, which brought your focus into this? So maybe just a key point, maybe in one or two key point, which you can tell that, see, this is the reason I wanted to do, this, and this particular thing has helped me when doing the task with the C#. I think that would be really great insight, and which will help us to really go and deep dive by knowing the real cause behind this. Yeah.
Yeah, Sumit, the reason behind all these things are, see, one cannot alone code it. Okay, it has to be a teamwork. And when we wanted to grow, I wanted to also share the knowledge with my teammates, with my community, all those things. So that's the reason I started writing the blogs, writing the something like on the this one, and started sharing the knowledge. That's how it is been become a fashion in
Thank you.
school and
Thanks for inspiring, Srinath. Yeah, it's wonderful. Thank you.
okay, thanks.
All right. Any other question from anyone?
I think there are some comments. It's like a lot of appreciation for Srinath in the chat.
Great.
So
I'm
people
sure.
are appreciating the session.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure, as you mentioned, Harsh, right? I mean, it's a weekend, might be, a few people were not able to join, but I'm sure this recording will help, many folks, and I'm pretty sure it is a very good work. So really thanks, from all the community, Srinath. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thanks, Harsh. Yeah.
Okay, so let me just quickly share my screen, once again. Okay, so I hope you can see my screen. So once again, really thank you, Srinath, for this wonderful session. I'm sure every one of us are going to get a lot of benefit out of it, and also the work right now which you are doing for a community. We are really looking forward to you and for that work. Really, thank you.